Donald Trump is the first ever former president to be arraigned on federal charges, but he's also facing several other legal cases. I'm joined by Politico's legal editor, James Ramoser, to break down what's going on. James, thank you for joining me. Can you walk us through the important legal challenges that former President Trump is facing right now?
It's kind of hard to keep track given that there are so many different investigations and so much legal hot water that Trump is in. But there are four primary criminal cases or investigation. There's the indictment in New York stemming from hush money payments to a porn star and Trump's alleged attempts to falsify business records in connection with those payments. That's brought under New York law. There's, of course, the recent indictment that just came down in Florida. This is a federal charge, and it relates to Trump's retention of classified documents after he left the White House, and then his attempts to obstruct the government's efforts to recover those documents. Those are the two cases in which he has currently been indicted and is facing criminal charges officially. There are two other ongoing criminal investigations that could result in further criminal charges. One is in Georgia, the other is another federal investigation. Both of those investigations relate to Trump's efforts to undermine the 2020 election results and derail the transfer of power on January 6th. So those are the primary four criminal cases that could subject Trump to criminal liability and potentially prison time. In addition to the criminal cases, there are also a handful of other civil matters that he's facing. For example, there's a case brought by the New York Attorney General alleging tax problems and other financial problems with his company.
So we have some criminal cases, some are state, some are federal, and there are some civil cases that are in the works as well. Can you break down the differences between some of these cases and the significance of those differences for us?
Yeah, I mean, the two indictments that Trump is facing may really only be the beginning. And then, in addition to those criminal probes that I've already described, he also has a number of civil matters. And he was recently found liable for sexually abusing a writer named E. Jean Carroll in a civil lawsuit in New York as well.
As journalists, we have covered how unprecedented all of this is extensively at this point. But does it really hinder his ability to run for president again?
So there's no legal impediment to him running for president while under indictment, even if he were convicted of some of these charges. In fact, there's not even a legal obstacle preventing someone from being elected president while serving time in prison. Obviously, in American history, no president or former president has ever been indicted until this year. And now Trump has been indicted twice. He may be indicted two more times in those other investigations before the year is out. Also, no major candidate running for office has been indicted by the government that he's attempting to lead. And there are a variety of very fraught questions here. Trump and his Republican allies have sought to undermine these charges by criticizing the motivations and by criticizing the system itself, by saying that the Justice Department is corrupt. And it is probably the biggest stress test that the American justice system has faced in the nation's history.
So we have some sense of whether or not and how these developments matter to voters, particularly Republican voters. But what about lawmakers?
Democrats have, decried the conduct that Trump is accused of, and Republicans have mostly leaped to his defense with, a few isolated exceptions like Mitt Romney and a couple other Republicans who have criticized Trump in the past. But by and large, the response from Congress, from Republicans in Congress, has been to stand by Trump. And in fact, Republicans have attempted to make some moves to try to, undermine some of these Justice Department investigations.
What do you think our viewers should be paying attention to or watching for next, considering how much is going on right now?
These cases are not going to move swiftly. And what we know from Trump over his very long career, facing many, many different types of legal troubles, is that Trump and his lawyers use one strategy consistently: delay, delay, delay. They have many tactics in their arsenal to slow these proceedings down, to stall these proceedings. I don't think that Trump will be seeking a speedy trial in this case. And if he wants to, delay these, into 2024 and pass the election, he certainly has the ability to try to do that. He'll need the cooperation of the judges to do that. But these cases are so politically fraught, so sensitive, that I don't think any judge is going to want to be seen as just fast tracking them. Everyone here is going to act with a lot of caution and care.
James Ramoser with Politico, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much, Nicole. Glad to be here.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nicole Ellis.